Hello, Gemini, Sun, Moon, and Rising. This is your Astro Tarot report. I'm making sure to include tarot here for the month of July 2025. Now, this is a big month for you because the planet of Uranus, which rules the age of Aquarius, is going to be moving into your sign. So, depending on if it's your ascendant, your sun, or your moon, you'll experience a different outtake of this transit, but you are definitely born for this and to be a part of the new, shall we say, advancements, technological advancements, or media advancements, or writing advancements, or communicating, or podcasting, or teaching, because you're going to have Uranus impacting this your planet or your whatever you have in Gemini, um, causing a big shakeup and change in your life. So, but the point of Uranus is to have you on your humanitarian path and to liberate everyone in the world financially. But for Gemini, for the next 8 years, 8 years, they're going to be a part of expanding the knowledge and technologies that are going to bring us into the new modern era, basically. So Geminis are going to be pretty important here for this period of time. So you're going to have a significant mission or a calling that Uranus is going to help push you into financial liberation around. That's what happened when Uranus was on my hitting my planets. Um, when it was in Aries, I had a lot of big changes in my career, but when I had Uranus in my sun, I moved country. I got into a relationship. Well, actually, I didn't right away. Later on, about 3 years in, I got into a marriage and I had a child. I mean, it was like my whole life changed completely. So, and then when I had Uranus in my 10th house, I completely my whole outlook on life and my career completely changed. I didn't even know that what my true career was even a possible career, which was this. So Uranus is going to take you on a path that you don't even know existed. So buckle up, Gemini. It'll be great though. I don't mean anything scary. It's all the desire of Uranus, and remember Uranus rules the age of Aquarius, is to liberate people and to have financial liberation and expand the humanitarian causes. So you'll be a big part of that in the next for the next 8 years. Now, so, what else is really important to talk about? So, we have Venus Uranus happened yesterday or on the 4th, and we have Venus moving into Gemini, your sign here. So, that's going to be a really good time for romance, finances. There may have been a surprise contact. You may have run into somebody that was a relationship from the past. We are going to have Saturn in retrograde. We have Neptune in retrograde, which is often about is a higher octane Venus. So, there's a plus sextiling that Saturn. So there's a good chance you either hear from a past relationship, you run into somebody significant, it's very surprise out of the blue, or if you're single, you meet your person, you meet like it's that love at first sight energy when Uranus is in the picture. So there's some sort of love at first sight or a big shocking or good news around finances and money or internet, because you've got that trining Saturn, sextiling Saturn in your 11th house. You could meet somebody online. So that's another option. Or there's some sort of win and gain in some sort of achievement around your 11th house, which is networking, a tribe, like word of mouth. You get some sort of good news, word of mouth. I had Uranus trining my Venus in the 11th, and I got really good news and lots of confirmations about my readings and all this word of mouth the other day. It was like, wow, that was Venus, Uranus trining my Venus. And it was really good news about um, some feedback that I was getting, some really accurate, that my readings are, very accurate, which is great to hear. So, so yeah, so we've got that. And so now that we're on that Saturn in retrograde with Neptune, Neptune's currently in retrograde, which is really aligning us with our desire, our highest dream. It's in your 11th house, your big dream life. You want to go for it here. And you've got Neptune is in retrograde. So it's a good chance it's either a person from your past life or a person you already know in this life that you've been in separation from, you come together. If you're already married in your true partnership, a project or friends or tribe from the past or groups that you've lost touch with come back in with Saturn in retrograde, some sort of humanitarian project related to a group comes back into the scene, or some sort of group project, or what's another way to look at that 11th house with Saturn going there? Now, if you're a writer, you can get, Geminis are often writers. You're going to see Saturn in your 11th house really opens up the opportunity for you to get publishing. So in retrograde, perhaps you submitted a writing, then Saturn retrograde, you hear from the publishers, the 11th house's publishers, and they ask you to make some adjustments, and then it goes forward. So there's some adjustments being made with Saturn in retrograde. You're clearing some sort of karma around wherever Capricorn is in your chart. Where is Capricorn? Where is Capricorn for Gemini? Oh, your eighth house. Interesting. So yeah, so Saturn and Neptune are at work ending a 30, 35-year karmic cycle around, for you would have been Capricorn house ruled, which is your eighth house and your ninth. So you're clearing karma around fears and attachments and relationships and money and joint resources, and just basically karma around some kind of deep un unseen trauma is being healed. And it has the cause of your karma or cause of karmic actions that are causing you to act in ways that are creating negative outcome. So there's sort of some sort of transformation occurring, and we're about to have a full moon in your eighth house on the 10th, where you have this big revelation of what this karmic pattern is and what the source fear is of this. And it may really reveal it. It could be a big trigger for you on this full moon because it's in the eighth house, and you really see some sort of fear-based attachment or disorders that we all carry, but eighth house full moons can show them up for everybody. And so it really shows you how you're operating, how that's causing you to operate karmically in relationships or attached to relationships for some sort of security, survival security sort of issue. But or feeling dead without a person, some sort of that death feeling of, because Saturn rules your eighth house. So it's possible that you're clearing an attachment to relationships that you seek so that you don't feel dead inside. So it's almost like that's Capricorn over the eighth. There's sort of a feeling of death if you're not in a relationship. So you're sort of healing that, and you're seeing that pushes you into relationships that are not necessarily the right people to be in a relationship with. Or based on the heart space. Geminis can be very in their head, very intellectual about their choices. And so you may have a karmic, you may have a deep wounding, a deep pain, fear pain that you don't want to be alone, because if you are, you'll feel it. So you stay in relationships, and you keep relationships because it keeps your life busy, and you like mentally active relationships, but it's keeping you away from the intimacy that you truly desire in a connection. And that in this full moon will reveal that the karma that is pushing you away from allowing anyone in. Or and if you're in your current relationship, again, you can be going through transformations in that relationship and transforming toxic patterns in that relationship, and then allowing more intimacy and closeness. So these transformations occur in or out of a relationship. But it is possible, if you're in one and it's not the right relationship, a full moon in the eighth house in Capricorn could end a karmic relationship. So let's get some cards going here. Let's start. We talked about that, Uranus going into your first house. We talked about that. So if you're ascendant Gemini, you're going to have a new identity by the time that your life goes through a lot of changes. When it's Uranus in the first house, you move a lot, or you get into a couple of relationships, or you kind of drop jobs or move around quite a bit. It's kind of an unsettling period, but by the end of that, you're stable, you're set. You really discover, because what Uranus in your first house is trying to rid you of all the things that aren't really you, and liberate you to your true authentic self, so that you can step forward into your humanity, what you're here for on a humanitarian level, because Uranus in your first house, what you're here to do and how you're here to contribute as an authentic Gemini in this humanitarian effort that is opening up all over the world. as we go from Uranus into Gemini. We're really activating the new Earth, the new modern technology, the new era, modern era. So we've talked about the full moon. So then we've got that Saturn retrograde in your 11th. So most likely connections from the past, projects from the past, co-collaboratives from the past through your, you may hear through the word of mouth or through the internet, social media. So it looks like you get involved and, there's a good chance of a relationship too, because Jupiter rules your seventh house. Jupiter's in a really, really, really nice energy in its own sign of exaltation of Cancer, which is home, family, very abundant in your second house with the sun there. There could be quite good money this month, but it has been in a square and it has been in combustion. So that's just a spot. It's going to start opening up now. But you do have Jupiter there, so new ways of making money. You can spend a lot with Jupiter in the second. But with that full moon in the eighth, helping you overcome fears of survival and your karmic attachments to money, you may end up spending quite a bit. But then Jupiter in the second can also bring you in quite a bit, and it can also definitely bring in new financial ventures that are very abundant. But we are looking at some sort of expansion in a relationship as well, because it rules your seventh house and it rules your 10th. So there's a career relationship connection there. And a lot of people are stepping into their soul contracts right now with their divine partners, their true partners. Yeah, you see, we get the Six of Cups. So we're getting a reconciliation, we're getting peace and things moving forward in a connection or a friendship that it does look like from the past. So we're clearing a karmic issue that blocked this from happening before, which was deep in your deep hidden because it's the eighth house. You had karma, so it was really causing an ability to really go forward in a divine relationship, or your mission, because it can involve this mission that you may have had. You see the negative, see Gemini, negative thinking. The Gemini are purifying negative thinking because Geminis are so powerful. Your thinking is the thought is the most powerful thing that we have. I mean, we really manifest what we think, as above, so below, as within, so without, so without. So it's like you're learning that in order to be in a really any kind of a connection, because Gemini is the lover's card, and Gemini's I teach a class on the hero's journey, and when we get to this card, it's about being really, really nice and being able to make agreements and co-collaborate with people and make positive agreements with people, right? So here we are working on that. We've worked on that, and clearly negative thinking was a part of this problem that caused you to separate from somebody who may have been significant and caused you to get into karmic situations. But then we get the death card on that, where there's a transformation where you become transformed from that karmic tendency to be in a relationship because you change relationships. I would say that if it's not divine love, if it's not true love, the processing of a karmic relationship, it tends to be on the negative. But even if you were in a divine partnership, you may have had negative thinking that you couldn't make it work. And that would have just been because these sorts of relationships do not fit the normal shape that people think. Hard to explain this. So basically, Gemini are seeing that their thinking isn't always what's true, and that is a big part of that led them into karmic situations and disappointments, because you got to go with the heart. You got to feel, you got to get into a relationship. There's that hangman. It's like if you're in your successful and you're in your right relationship, then you got to let go of negative thinking that, a lot of Gemini sometimes have issues of committing. So sometimes when you're in your committed, healthy relationship, you go through periods of negative thinking and you want to go somewhere else and leave the relationship. So that's all sourced in negative thinking, apparently. And also this inability to really let somebody deep down, because when you go in there deep down, there's some unhealed wounding and pain. So that gets triggered in divine partnerships to be healed. But then if you rush into karmic situations rather than heal it, you'll have to heal it through the karmic situations. So that's what's happening. And then you're aligning now. So that's basically the beautiful, there's, twin flame or divine partnership alignment, cohabitate, moving in. We've got that south node. So moving along, we've got Mercury retrograde. So I'm jumping around. First of all, on the 20th, we're going to have a big conjunction of Mars South Node. Again, it depends on your own chart if it's impacting any planets, but there is a big potential you move and you just completely up and leave and decide to completely move from an area or really release old patterns, old family ancestral woundings that are causing you to have dysfunctional relationship because it squares your seventh house. So it's like this sort of repeat pattern from your family heritage lineage that is causing you to have problems in your relationships that you have to transform and work and let go of and surrender control and some sort of fear-based attachment also to property, real estate, or family. So you're going spiritual now. You're going more north node into your spiritual 10th house, focusing more on your dharma and letting go of sort of family stress and issues and past life, what do we call it, ancestral woundings and patterns and um, just junk from the past, basically, in the family, and releasing it and focusing more on a dharmic path that is your mission, that's your calling, that that makes you're reaching you're going, leaving your past and leaving into a new, grabbing onto a new destiny that's more important and releasing the sort of stress and tension that that family brings you or that is surrounded in your family situation. Um, so then we have, that's the big conjunction coming up. Then we've got North, then we've got on this 18th, which is before this. And then on the 22nd, we have the sun going into Leo. And on the 18th, we have Mercury going retrograde. And then we have the new moon in Leo, and that is all in your third house. So we're going to have Mercury retrograde in your third house, and we're going to have the sun moving in there, and this new moon, which puts a lot of energy into your local community, local area, siblings, friends, business ideas, media project, because retrograde communication from the past, that Saturn retrograde again in the 11th house, which is a kind of a media, social networking. So some kind of a connection from the past, communication from the past, perhaps through media, social media. With the sun there, you take some sort of focus on a project or to sell something or to communicate or to short distance travel. And there's a new moon there. So it's like the sort of a new neighborhood, you could move and relocate. So you've got this new neighborhood, new beginning. You may have to do more short distance travel, um, but there's some sort of, now this trines your seventh house. So it could be this a contracted, soul contracted mission with a person that is your true divine mate, where you start a business with them with this new moon. And it's something that you sell, and there's a very creative element to it because of Leo. And it could be of an idea from the past because Mercury retrograde in your third house, idea is a skill, reactivating an old skill from your past. South Node Mars can sometimes really open up past life gifts. And then we do have we have that Aries energy. So these triggers could show up again that we've been working on with Chiron in Aries for the last, I don't know, is it 8 years? Feels like it's forever. But now we're getting Chiron retrograde. So, and Saturn retrograde, Mercury retrograde, you're going to be redoing this relationship and this time doing it better, learning how to communicate how you truly feel, allowing somebody in by honestly communicating rather than, I would say, hiding a bit. I think the Geminis might be a little more runner energy. So we're sort of being more present and showing up in relationships now, opening up. And then we've got that Venus coming into your second house with Jupiter. Venus, Jupiter is so lucky, and that's going to be for the month. And that happens, well, that happens at the end of the month. So in August, it's going to be fantastic Leo season for you. So let's pull some more cards here for Gemini. Let's see. Venus, Leo. Well, that really does bring a very connected, soul contracted mission or way of making money or new way of making money that really brings you pleasure, that you really please. Or you could be making a lot of money selling jewelry, beautiful things, making things with your hands with that Mercury in your third house. But we do see a lot of, here, let me, those cards, hang on a minute. Let me see that again. What do we see here for Gemini? Well, there's this. empathic energy with Jupiter and Venus in that second house. There we go with the Wands energy, creative, knowing what you want on an intuitive and in a heart way. Then we get the 11th, we get the Justice card. So it's basically knowing what you want and ending all other things. You know what you want, you're going for it. You know what your soul wants, you know what fires you up, you're ending everything else. You don't have any more fear attachments with that full moon in your eighth house. You're like free to go. You're free to fly. I said that to someone the other day. There is that Leo energy, and then we get surprise information, this Tower card, where your life really does. I would say you're going to start seeing your life really, really that shakeup of Uranus shifting into your sign. You're going to start seeing change a lot in the Leo as soon as we get into more the middle of the month into Leo season. And then we get some sort of a realization because I keep seeing that Ten of Swords, the Tower card, surprise, things moving forward. So there's sort of like a realization on some sort of fear-based way of communicating or thinking that that you're going to see now. And now that you see that, you're able to really take a relationship forward here. And we get that Justice card over Leo, and we get that Wheel of Fortune and Knight of Pentacles and an apology perhaps, but things moving forward in some sort of new financial beginning. Perhaps with that eighth house new full moon too, you get a you start an investment opportunity too. You take risks because you're no longer so fear-based attached. You start to really work, you see a really nice investment opportunity to invest in something. And also you join your resources with this relationship that appears to be coming in. Or if you're already in your relationship, you join your resources to start some business or some project together. And maybe let go of a current living situation and buy another place and move and relocate so that you can be in alignment and you're not stuck around family, maybe, so that you can be more in alignment with your true destiny and let go of some sort of weight that's holding you back. Not that the family is that, but there might be a property or, feeling stuck in your current property that you want to release and move, you want to, sell or move out of. So that's all going to, yeah, because there's this big change. Your sign is getting the tower card more than anybody else because you guys have Uranus in your things moving very quickly. That is a travel energy, potential travel there. Just want to see what you have in your ninth for a minute. What covers your ninth? Aquarius. Uranus rules your ninth. So perhaps, see, look at this big, big radical change, clarity, new beginnings. Everything else seems superficial. Everything else that you've done, you're going to walk a path of true love and what's true for you. So the confusion is no longer there. I got the Five of Wands and then I get the Eight of Cups. So it's like you're not confused about what you want. You're going towards an inspired path, and anything that's empty, new abundant beginnings, very abundant. Anything that's empty, your destiny changes. Anything that's empty, you're leaving behind. You have total clarity and you're headed. There's that North Node. You're headed towards your destiny, your true calling, your Dharma. So if you would like a reading, feel free to contact me. My information is below. You can click on my website. I have a booking link, or you can email me directly. What else was I going to say? I hope you have a wonderful month of July, and I'm excited for you with that Uranus transit. It's going to be great, and have a wonderful day. Namaste.